We ready? Okay, we got a short session here, so I guess we'll start on time here. Just get everything moving. So my name is Pete Blois. I'm Program Manager on Expression Blend, and I'm here to talk about designing interactivity using Expression Blend. Also immediately following me is going to be Joanna Mason, and she's going to talk about Photoshop import and a bunch of other great design stuff inside of Blend 3 as well. So we have two back-to-back Blend 3 sessions, and we'll probably be sticking around at the end just to take some questions. We'll be over in third place as well at the very end. Okay. So just to get this started, like what is interaction design, like when we're talking about this? Very often when we're doing visual design, what we care about is basically how the application that we're designing impacts the user through the use of graphics, fonts, colors, all that, like how the user actually responds to the application. Interactive design is how we actually impact the application is an easy way of thinking about it. Examples of it is like when you click on a button, pop up a window or turn the background blue, something like that. This is often captured in collateral such as interactive guides or storyboards, where you have like state 1, state 2, and some little text underneath the bottom, like when the user clicks on this button, go to state 2, go to the home state, or when you click on the home button, go home. This is basically something that for Blend 3 that we really wanted to focus on, that we really wanted to put more of the design process into interactive design. So making it easy to really iterate on this, to really create, to define how an application responds to the user, and make it easy to iterate on it, to experiment, to try new things, see what works, see what doesn't work. So to do this, we actually have sort of two separate concepts that we're rolling into calling behaviors, is the overall feature. You saw some of it briefly mentioned this morning in the keynote, but basically there's two categories that we're talking about. There's triggers and actions, and there's behaviors. So you can think about triggers and actions as when something happens, do something. This is what you see inside of storyboards, that you say, when the user clicks on this button, go home. But we want to expand that. We want to actually say, when something happens, so that you can define different actions or different events. When one of those happens, do something else. And for the do something, we can say, pop up a message box, open up this dialog, close this dialog, things like that. But there's actually a lot of other things that don't fall into that easy category. And that's why we have behaviors. And it's sort of a box that we can throw a lot of stuff in. So I'm going to show you some examples. But some things to think about is just how you actually make something like follow the mouse around the screen, or maybe a nice little animation effect that you want to do a very fancy spring, something like that. So basically that's the intro to behaviors. And just quickly, I'm just actually going to go right into showing you the really brief how to cause some damage demo of how to get started. I'm going to show you just enough here to actually get into trouble. So draw out a button. We want it to do something. How do we get it to do something? We go into the new behaviors tab in the asset tool, and we have a list of things that essentially can be done. Really simple one, so I just want to pull out show a message box. And what we see inside of the property inspector is we have some properties for message. What is actually going to be shown? So let's just say, yo world, what's going on? So that's what's going to be displayed in the message box, and then the event that's going to be triggering it. So we have a click event. We have a whole bunch of these other events. But if you want some crazy different event, we also you can select a whole different event type or a whole different trigger type. This is all extensible. You can create your own. But there are some that we'll be shipping as well. So I'll go into different examples of that. But that's actually how you change those. Then the other part of this is behaviors. I just want to say, drag this scene around underneath the mouse. Like when I click and drag, we have some properties on there too, which is just some bounds. I won't really set that, so we won't constrain it. And then just run the application. So I'm doing this in Silverlight, but it's fully supported on Silverlight and WPF, the same model for both of them. And unfortunately, my IE, sometimes I need to upgrade to the latest. It sometimes takes a moment. So patience, I'm not sure. Maybe I need to reformat my machine soon. It will actually come up. This isn't the Silverlight start time. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. So, I click on the button. Hey, we get a message box. And I can click around. Stuff moves. Like, nice and easy. And those are the basics. That's all you need to know to get started with this stuff. But the main thing where we go from there is let's do something interesting with it. That's a pretty boring application. So I'm just going to go to a separate project. This is a sample that we shipped with, I believe, Blend 2 SP1, but I fixed up the sample a little bit. So we just have a couple states here that show a couple images. Really, really simple application, some pictures on the scene. And what I want to experiment with is different ways of actually navigating through this application, so of going through the states. So in here, we have already set up just some buttons in the bottom right. Actually, let me change my zoom on there, get some more space. So some buttons on the bottom right, and we want to actually make those like go to the next state, go to the previous state. Previously, this would require some code. It's not like too much code, but I still walk around the office and I'd see like some designers in the office, they have a little sticky pad underneath their monitor, like Visual State Manager, go to state, quotes. Yeah, we're trying to get past that essentially. So I'll go back here and I just want to go to the next state when you click this button over here. So I'll drag out, go to next state, and then go to previous state on the other button. Automatically, these things were set up to go off of the click event, and then we have loop, like whether or not when it gets to the end, it'll loop around. Nice and simple. So I'll run it. And woohoo, no code, and everything is responding. So we're actually going through that stuff. Pretty cool. Say I want to do this off of something a little bit more than just like button click. Button click, that's pretty easy. Such as when I do the right arrow, like go next previous over there. So I'm just going to take the go to next state, put that on the root, and instead of using a standard trigger, I could use a key down, but I actually need some parameters on it. So let's just choose a key trigger. And for the key, let's say when I hit the right arrow, then we're going to go to the next state. So in here, now I have just the arrows navigating between the states. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty cool. Now say that I actually want this to go automatically. So not everything has to be off of actually user input. Maybe I want it to cycle. So I can change this trigger to, instead of being a key down trigger, I actually want it to be like a timer. And so I'll just choose the timer trigger, and we have an interval on here, so I can say every 1 second, or I can say like every half second. I'll just leave that at a second. So every 1 second, it's going to be going to the next slide, and this will make it actually go automatically. Run it again. Okay, pretty cool. So like one of the things that this morning, like I woke up, like I was all pretty nervous for the talk, and for some reason I was like, you know what this thing like really, really needs? I just had this sound in my head of one of those like slide projectors, like one of those really old ones, like the chink, chink, yeah, just from school days or whatever. So I was like, oh, I gotta have that in here as well, because actually like being able to design the actual like how this thing feels. I don't know, applications need sound sometimes. So I'm just going to add some sound on here, and so I'm going to take out the play sound. And I could play sound, when the mouse, when you click on a button, when you mouse over the button, when you do anything. But for this one, I want it to play like whenever the state changes. So whenever we go to a different state, let's just play the sound. Really simple. And then I need to choose like which sound it's going to be going. And let's see, I have my projector sound that I picked up this morning, and let's see. Cool, okay. Yep. Wow, doesn't that just like completed the demo right there? I think I can stop. But like for experimenting with things, there's different input techniques that you may want to play with as well. So one of the things that we made just to play around with that worked really well was actually doing there's like this mouse gesture trigger. This is using some of the extensibility that's built into Blend 3 on like custom property editors and stuff like that. But basically, it allows you to actually, this one says that when I make a certain gesture on the scene, to actually go to the next state. So I can define the gesture right here. So I'm just going to draw out an arrow. It can be like pretty rough. And then when I actually run it, And I'm back to my slow IE. What? Or, yeah, maybe you want to do yours before. Come on. Sorry. Demo difficulties. Okay, hey, nice. So, so I can draw just like a pretty rough arrow. It's cool because there's actually some tolerances built into that one. I use just the ink gestures that are built into the platform so that you go to the next one. So these are all actually different ways of playing around with saying, when you actually, like when something happens, do something. You can do a lot of things. Like when you mouse over, you want to say, when I mouse over an element, like make the pop-up fly out. But basically, we want to give you the tools to be able to experiment, play around with stuff. The other category which I mentioned was behaviors, which is the sort of vague one, do whatever type of thing. For this one, so I had this other demo which I thought was really cool and we've actually been using for quite a while. But then Monday I was like, that one I can do better than that. So this is one that's also actually sitting over there, I had put together, and it's supposed to be a sample, so hopefully it will be a sample someday. But right now it was actually cool to use for the demo. And like basically it's just, I'll run it pretty quick. It's a fun one. So this is built using the Silverlight 3 like effects. It's a little nifty, like you have an image, you can open up new images, but you can like change the saturation. So it's just running some of the effects on the design surface or on the image there. So you have like contrast and saturation and brightness. Pretty fun. But we actually want the interface, like the navigation, the whole buttons to behave in a more interesting manner. So to do this, like one of the other ones that we're playing around with is some physics stuff, to be able to add like physics to your UI in a way that makes it feel a little bit more natural. So I'll just go in here and I'll just take, so body behavior is a physics thing, and I'm just going to take, that just says, make this object act as if it were a physical body. So I'll attach that to those 3 buttons. And it has a whole bunch of properties, how much friction it has and how much it'll bounce off of other things, a whole bunch of interesting properties. And immediately they fall. So I need to turn off gravity in order to do that. Sorry. So no gravity, but I also want them to drag around, like with the mouse. So I'm just going to take out like the mouse drag on here. And this actually drags elements as if they were a little bit more physical. So, I've written code. Everybody asks me, like, it seems like everybody asks me, like, how do I make something follow the mouse? It's easy to do. I can tell you, you set up the render transform with translate transform, some stuff like that. And, in the past, I'd give you a code sample, stuff like that, and say, like, here's how you integrate it into your project. But we're really trying to make it like ways with behaviors where we can actually say, here, you just drag drop this onto your element in the UI, and then it drags with the mouse. This is a little bit fancy one because it actually like works with physics. And then let's actually play this, see what it does. And sorry. I'm just going to save this. I'm not sure what's going on right there. Oh, sorry, and I just launched the wrong version of Blend. Demo fun. So I'll run this one quick. Okay, now I can actually like grab this object and cool, I can throw it around. And I can also do stuff like throw this thing around and throw this guy into that guy, bounces off of it. Like, that's pretty fun. This is an app that I can actually like play around with, that I can draw users in. And that's really what a lot of this stuff is about, is taking your application to essentially the next level. Just like small little things. Yep, so fun stuff there. But really like what the what I really wanted to get, the effect that I really wanted to get was I wanted these things to sort of like group together. So it's like an auto-grouping like menu system type of thing. So to do that one, I just add like a little bit of like magnetism to these things. So magnet, just make all of these buttons actually act as magnets. And let's see. And then the other part was that when they collide together, you know, like it was a little bit boring there. So all your apps need sound, but don't use too much sound. So I'm just going to like put a simple like play sound. I actually want to say like when this thing hits something else, let's play a sound. So I'm going to go to the collide, which actually says like when it hits, let's play a sound. For the sound, let's see. I think I have. Okay, I can't find. Maybe I deleted my sound for, oh, nope, I have a sound in there. Yep. All right. So right here, then I can take these things, I can swing them around, and when I clang them in, they make a nice little like bell clang. There's a little bit of nice feedback for the UI. It's actually pretty fun because like since these things are like physics objects, then we can say, I'm going to go to the body and I'm going to say that it's actually allowed to like rotate. And like when you sort of add some of this physics stuff, it gives a very natural feel to your application. And you can do like funny things. So for example, you know, I can actually like swing it around sort of like that, and it rotates around, which is sort of cool with the like rotating like navigation there, being able to swing those too. And so the system is all actually is fully extensible, and I'm showing you just some simple stuff that we've done, sort of playing around to light up our applications. To put together this one, honestly, it was like Monday afternoon that I was like, yeah, I want to integrate some of this other stuff, which is what we're trying to do is you know, pull in behaviors from other sources, pull in triggers, pull in actions. Basically, this is another aspect to the designer-developer workflow that, you know, if you have some coding skills, you know, make some really cool stuff. If you're, you know, just in your design phase and you're like, okay, you know, I just got to like get this thing going, I want to throw together some stuff, then you can just integrate this stuff into applications. And it's an easy way to really make your stuff light up. Yeah, and let's see, I'll switch back. So other stuff. So expression blend preview, blend 3, they mentioned it earlier. That's available today. Also the behaviors, there's no behaviors included in the download right now. So all of that stuff, it should be appearing on the gallery, I think in a couple days or sometime. Yep, Krupa, he runs the gallery, he's down there, he's shaking his head. So in a couple days, you'll find behaviors. All the stuff here, hopefully I'll get up on the gallery, or I will get up on the gallery so you can download it. You can download them, play around with them, and then give us feedback on what stuff you actually want to see shipping with the product, essentially. Yeah, so that's it. And for questions, I guess I'll be at third place. Or I can take a couple questions while Joanna is setting up if you have any. Sweet.